I'm here with a video on a low salt diet because a friend of mine recently had some health problems and is now limited to a mere 600 milligrams of sodium per day. And eating was kind of our thing, so what I decided to do, I'm not doing it with him because I'm not crazy, but I decided to go shopping at a bunch of stores and look at all of the salt-free or low-salt things that I could find, trying to put meals together, like 3 meals a day, that would come to 600 milligrams. And when you first look at this, if you haven't already, you see very quickly how extremely challenging it is. Everything, especially things you wouldn't expect, everything is just loaded with salt. Salad dressing, forget it. Tomato sauce, I mean, just everything that you take for granted, ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, sour cream, the works. It would all just blow 600 milligrams a day. I mean, right in one, just with one of those things. So this was challenging, but I have to say, I think I did a pretty good job. So I'm going to flip the camera around. I have to make this video very quickly, but I just want to kind of show you some of the things that I found. All right, so I had to flip the camera around here. So I got a bunch of stuff here, and I got even more stuff there. It's stuff frozen and in the refrigerator. So I just wanted to point out a few things. I'll try to go very quickly, but I just stuck with stores in my local area. I did order a few specialty things online. So the first thing is chips and salsa. So this brand of chips, it's at Tom Thumb as well as other stores, has no sodium at all. It's completely sodium free. They're good. These other chips, which are also available at Kroger and stores like that, are lightly salted, so 25 milligrams per chips. And then, of course, you think, well, salsa. This is the only sodium-free salsa, or sorry, salt-free. There's still some sodium in it, 20 milligrams per 2 tablespoons. That's the only one I could find, the only one. And they sell it at Trader Joe's. I don't know if it's good. I haven't tried these things. But most of the other salsa, I mean, it's, a single serving could easily be, 300-400 milligrams. So that's the only one. Now, I will say, obviously like avocado, you can make your own guacamole. That would be low sodium, at least no salt added, things like that. Some popcorn. Here's a really interesting thing. This is 0 milligrams. They sell it at Whole Foods. I couldn't find any microwave popcorn in the stores that has no salt at all, but especially one that has butter flavoring but no salt added. I couldn't find it. Now, I did see online there is a company that makes just that. There are a few companies that make no salt added microwave popcorn, and there's one company that makes butter but no salt, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So, challenging. Some of these things like wheat thins and these Triscuits, especially, are really good snacks that are salt-free. But here's the real winner. The kettle chips with no salt, unsalted, they're only 5 milligrams for 8 chips. These are 0. These, which I bought one for myself, are very low salt, and they are delicious. At least I like them. My dad didn't. But you can see, there's a lot of chips here that actually are very low salt. Now, these Kind bars, this is really, really interesting. First of all, these ones I haven't tried, but they're 0 milligrams. These Kind bars are interesting. If you go to this shelf, my grocery store had like a bunch of these, probably 50 different Kind bars. They don't really say low sodium. You find that with a lot of products. You find a lot of products that say low sodium are actually extremely high. Like half sodium on something that's 1,000 milligrams doesn't do you any good, right? And you find that a lot. So be really careful when you see something that says low sodium, because at least half the time it's still extremely high. Other things like this you find are very low sodium, but they don't advertise it because most people aren't shopping for that. So these Kind bars are tricky. The only way to do it is to just look at the back and look at the label. That's the only way you can do it. Some of these Kind bars have 200 milligrams or more of sodium. Some of them only have 10 milligrams of sodium. You just got to look. Obviously, unsalted nuts and this unsalted trail mix from HEB. These fruit snacks from Whole Foods are delicious, and they have no sodium at all, and they're really good. Other fruit snacks, of course, loaded. I have corn tortillas, taco shells, so you can see you can do a lot. Chocolate is a surprising one. This chocolate right here is 0 milligrams. Some chocolate's very high, some chocolate's very low. I found some cereals here that are all low sodium or almost low sodium. Unsalted rice cakes, of course. Uncle Ben's Original Ready Rice has no sodium in it. The rest, forget it. Some things like lasagna. Nutella was a really surprising one. I mean, nothing on that tells you that it's low sodium, but it is. It's a great alternative. So you can see, like, if you start looking around, there's a lot of options, but you have to really spend a lot of time looking. Now, this was a good find. Be super careful on the chicken broth. The vast majority, when you go to the grocery store, especially if you go to several, you'll see a whole bunch of chicken broths. And a whole bunch of brands make one that says low sodium. And then when you look on the back, it's unreal. I mean, the low sodium chicken broths have 400, 500 milligrams in them, some of them. So all I had to do was just go one by one and look at the labels. This one was the lowest one I found by a mile. There's only 20 milligrams per cup. Some of the other low sodium chicken broths were 480 milligrams per cup. And the regular one was, like almost 1,000. So you got to be really careful. This one I got from HEB. Now, I'm going to come over here really quickly. Fruit, obviously, is a good one, like applesauce. I found this margarita mix that's only 10 milligrams. Apple juice is pretty low. You look around and you can find some seasonings. This is actually, there's like some ranch dip in here from this company. I don't know if it's any good or not, but you got to add mayonnaise. So that's the real trick. Now I did find some interesting ones here. So salad dressing is a big one. Okay, salad dressing is huge. Salad dressing, like, forget it. There's not a single salad dressing you can have other than oil and vinegar. Now, fortunately, olive oil has no salt, so you could do a lot of things with olive oil. Olive oil is really great. Olives, however, are completely loaded. Okay, so you can do a lot with olive oil, and also like eggplant. So you could make fried eggplant. I did see. Side note, I did see. There is a company that makes salt-free breadcrumbs. I think it's sold at Whole Foods or Central Market, but my local store did not have any. So if you can find salt-free breadcrumbs, that'll be a real winner. So some of the things here, like this company makes this here. It's saltfree.com with a dash in the middle. I don't know if it's any good or not. This one has really good reviews. They sell this at grocery stores. It doesn't have any salt. Some of these others, this company makes two different ones. They also make a champagne one that looks really good. There's no milligrams. That's from HEB. And then tomato sauce. All of these are all different tomato sauces or, tomato paste, diced tomatoes, things like that. Ketchup. You can see it's very confusing. Like Heinz makes a 0 milligrams one, and Heinz makes a 5 milligram one. So you can find low salt tomato sauces relatively easily. Just check your local grocery stores. But again, the difference is staggering. So if you just look at regular tomato sauce, it's pretty loaded. Tuna fish is a tricky one as well. This is the lowest salt I could find. They don't add any salt at all. And I believe that tuna is naturally high in sodium because it's in the ocean. Makes sense. So that's 120 milligrams per can. So that's quite a lot on 600 milligrams a day, which is why I wrote high on it. But it's a lot less than the others, and it's still doable. So some of the other things I'll point out here quickly, like Mrs. Dash makes a bunch of these different seasonings. Things like garlic, basil, oregano. That's basically what all these different seasonings are. They're just a bunch of other things besides salt. Let's see. Some of these fruit preserves here are salt-free, which is really great. Beans is kind of a tough one, but that one's from Whole Foods. I don't know about this vegan Caesar dressing. I only got it because it's low salt, but I don't know about that one. So, a few other things. This version of liquid smoke is low in sodium. The regular version is not. And there's some different marinades that I found here. Again, I don't know if these are any good. Like this one's at Kroger. It's like the only barbecue sauce one you can find that has virtually no sodium in it. Worcestershire is pretty high, actually. This is the low sodium version, or it says reduced sodium. It's still pretty high, 45 milligrams per teaspoon. So you got to be really careful with that one. Can't really imagine, actually, that probably shouldn't have bought this. Like, probably really don't need Worcestershire, but and of course some some different pastas and things like that. So before I show you the really big goodies, you can see when we combine these things, you can put a lot of stuff together. You can make lasagna. I found these low salt pizza crusts, which is a really great find. 85 milligrams per entire pizza crust. There's a bunch of different ones here. These are from H-E-B. I was not able to find this product at any other grocery stores around here. They may be out there, I just don't know about them, but this is a really good find. So you can make a pizza with tomato sauce. There's only 85 milligrams in the whole crust. And of course, you're wondering, okay, that's great, but what about cheese? Because cheese, most people know, is loaded with salt. Well, this was a challenge. So first off, most people will tell you Swiss cheese usually has less salt in it. That's true, but again, you gotta be real careful. There's a lot of difference in brands. This is the lowest sodium Swiss cheese I found, 30 milligrams per slice. I won't show you all of these, but this is the lowest sodium fresh mozzarella cheese I could find. This one is also at Trader Joe's. It's 8 milligrams per cheese ball there. So you can see that you could actually do a pizza with this. There's other ones though. So these cheeses here, I think I got these, where did I get these? Tom Thumb. These are actually pretty doable, 35 milligrams per tablespoon. You could top that on a salad and probably be okay. This mascarpone cheese from Kroger, and this specific one, again, these are all very specific. Don't assume that they're all going to be like that. Only 5 milligrams. So there's some shredded cheese blend. It's kind of like mozzarella. This one's interesting. Ricotta, it's still kind of high. I don't like ricotta cheese anyway, but it's the lowest one I found. And I can't stand paneer cheese, but that's why I hate this on it. But it has almost no sodium, only 5 milligrams per 1 inch cube. So there you go. There's some sour cream. This was actually really hard to find. This is the only one I found. 20 milligrams per 2 tablespoons. Sorry, at Tom Thumb. And then there's some cottage cheese down there I found. That's actually pretty doable. So 1/4 of that entire container is 60 milligrams. So you could have that. Now, another one is yogurt. Yogurt is, again, if you're trying to do 600 milligrams a day, yogurt is pretty high. I found these also at H-E-B, 35 milligrams each. That's about half to a third of your usual yogurt ones. These are non-dairy, and they only have 10 milligrams. I don't know if they're good or not, but you can try them and let me know. Now, back to our pizza. Okay, you probably might be thinking, okay, that's great. You got the crust, you got the cheese, you got the sauce, you got some toppings, but what about pepperoni? All right, well, here's the trick. This is your only option, and I mean your only option that I could find. Maybe there's something out there, but I mean in terms of sourcing it, this is it. It's still very high, but it is way less. Way less. I mean, that says 50% less. It's more than that when you compare it to other brands. So it's 250 milligrams per 15 pepperonis. Okay, so theoretically, again, if I had 15 pepperonis, maybe I could do 10, but let's say 15, plus my 85 to 90 milligram pizza crust, that's 350. Tomato sauce has no sodium. cheese, you could probably do another 50 with those mozzarellas. So, 400 milligrams for a pizza, it's probably doable, in a 600 milligram day if you, really ate light, on your other meals. And then the last thing that I'll show you on this box here that is probably the find that I'm proudest of is bacon. Now, this is another one. Don't even think about all those ones that say low sodium or uncured, or it's all just marketing ploys, man. Like, all of that stuff is BS. This is the only brand I found that is even remotely doable. It's 80 milligrams per slice, and that by a mile, that's 160 per 2 slices there. And I mean, that by a mile is the least amount. This was actually at Market Street. I did not find anything close at any other store. All the other ones that say low sodium bacon are just not even possible. Just forget it. So this was a really, really good find. So, you could do eggs. You could even do potatoes fried in olive oil. You could do bacon. And you could still keep your breakfast at, about 200 milligrams or something like that. And by the way, don't get it twisted. Don't think that you're going to get turkey bacon or some other product. I mean, they're all loaded, especially the uncured ones, which is really a misnomer. By definition, if it's bacon, it's cured. It's really just a marketing ploy. So, all right. And then very, very last thing is, this is the frozen box here. So just very quickly, I was really surprised that some of these frozen burgers, Bubba Burgers, there's one, I think, at Whole Foods that's both turkey burgers and beef burgers. These are actually really great. So there's only 800 milligrams per burger. I think this was Market Street, yeah. And some of these others, I mean, Bubba Burgers, I think they're 90. So that's actually a pretty good option if you just need something quick, in the freezer. This ice cream was a great find. Only 40 milligrams for 1/3 of that container. A lot less. Bison meat, 150 milligrams in that whole package. I froze this, obviously, so it'd stay good. Shouldn't do that, but that's pretty good. Now, let's talk about bread very quickly here. So this bread, I found this at Kroger. This has basically no sodium. And that's really the only one that I could find locally. Okay, this is your only option in terms of sodium-free bread. I will tell you, though, that Tuscany, I didn't know this till I started, but Tuscany bread, by definition, is made without salt. That's how they make it. You might be able to find a local bakery somewhere that makes some, salt-free bread. In my case, I did find an online bakery. I don't want to say their name yet because I haven't received the product, but they make a whole bunch of salt-free bread. So if you just Google, buy salt-free bread, you'll probably find it. And they make, not only do they make salt-free pizza crust, they make a bunch of different salt-free breads. And they also make salt-free pastries, pancake mix, cookies, things like that. Shipping was kind of a lot, and it's kind of a pain, but you might be able to find something out there. But this is just what you can source at a local store. So anyway, hope that shed some light on it, and good luck.